So, could Australia be the target of a similar terror attack?
To discuss our hot topics, we're joined by Alan Jones from 2GB and former New South Wales Treasurer Michael Costa. Alan, Australia will host a G20 summit of world leaders next year and the Commonwealth Games in less than 5. Is what happened in Boston a warning that we need to be prepared?
David, there is no doubt about that. I think we should never forget that, but for the relentless work of the federal police generally and ASIO, this could happen here. I think what we have to remember about Boston, it is a student city. You've got Harvard, MIT and a stack of other colleges. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a conspiracy amongst students, left-wing radical students in Boston. And I think we have to think also very seriously here about our own student numbers. We're very keen to have foreign students pay the way of universities in this country without a lot of discernment about who comes in. But I think the fact that we've been spared this kind of thing, touch wood, for so long, highlights, as I said, the relentless work done by ASIO and all our police organisations.
OK, Michael, off the back of what we saw in Boston yesterday, police in Australia saw a spike in the number of people reporting suspicious items, bags that had been left unattended. Do you think that we had become a bit complacent leading up to Boston?
Well, look, I think that complacency is an issue. And clearly this is a message not to be complacent. But I might just respond to Alan. I think we shouldn't jump to conclusions yet about what's behind all of this. Let the American authorities deal with it. You know, America's got a history of domestic terrorism unrelated to the sort of broader jihadist terrorist movement, and we don't want to jump to conclusions. But for Australia, the lesson is clear. Complacency can't be tolerated. We've got to support our authorities and we've got to ensure we're vigilant.
I think there are a lot of things here that we can't be told, and Michael, as a former member of the New South Wales Cabinet, would know that. I think governments here have been very good in dealing with all of this, and I think they'll continue to be very good. This was a very sophisticated attack. This wasn't the work of amateurs, and there were several bombs designed to do damage in big numbers. And I'm sure Australian authorities are alerted to all that.
Yeah. Right, let's move on. Tony Abbott is now more popular with women than Julia Gillard. A 7 Reach Tell poll has found 52% of females prefer Mr Abbott, 48% for Ms Gillard. Alan, all these misogyny attacks on Mr Abbott seem to have failed.
Well, most things the Gillard government does have failed, including the recent educational announcement. The attacks were always going to fail. Australians don't respond to that kind of personal stuff. You don't see successful women, whether on your program, whether in politics, anywhere else around the world, when they're in trouble, pulling the gender card. This woman has pulled the gender card and it's failed. It's as simple as that.
OK, Michael, Mr Abbott is well ahead of Ms Gillard with men as well. He's 62 to 38%. Do you think Michael Costa is just an all-round good bloke, Tony Abbott?
I think this election won't be fought on personalities, it'll be fought on policies, and that's where the Gillard government has its challenges. You know, one poll doesn't discern a trend. Let's wait and see what happens at the election, but it will be about policies, certainly not personalities, in my view.
Yeah, this poll really isn't out on its own, though, is it, Michael?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
well, that's
this
true.
is part of the trend.
That's true, but the fact of the matter is that it's the policy positions of the Gillard government that have caused the problem.
I think the poll demonstrates that men, women, boys, girls, horses, cats and dogs have had enough of all of this. Yeah. They can't wait for September 14.
Yeah, it's policy that we've got to look at.
All right. OK, James, thank you for that. Good to see you.
Thank you, David. See you, Sam.